Hey guys, David Guest. Today I want to talk about one of the most critical elements for scaling your business. And the element we're going to be talking about today is how do you build a self-managed team. Now, what is a self-managed team? Simple. It's a team that manages itself. In other words, you don't need to be there every day to tell them what to do. You don't need to check their work. They actually know what to do and they know what a good job looks like. Now, building a self-managed team is relatively straightforward. And if we think about self-managed teams as the core of this activity today, there's three elements that are going to get us a self-managed team. So the very first element of any self-managed team is that we have to find the right people. So we need to be able to recruit. Now, we live in a market where it's a buyer's market. In other words, there's more people there's more jobs available than there are people looking for work, which makes it a tough market. Now, the real question that you need to answer when you're recruiting is why would high caliber people want to work for my business? And if you cannot answer that question with anything other than either pay or, because we're a great place to work, if there's no point of difference between you and the competitor, you will fall into a sea of sameness. So recruitment of self-managed teams requires you to really put some time and effort into making sure that you stand out from your competitors and that your place of work is way more attractive to them as a value proposition than any other place of work. And it's not just about the pay. Now, once we have the right people applying for jobs, we need to be able to select the right candidates. And we also need to move into the second phase, which is to delegate. Now, one of the biggest issues that I have around this is that most people are not great delegators. And the reason they're not great delegators is because no one ever taught them how to delegate effectively. Now, my suggestion to you is if you're looking to build a self-managed team, you must start with building a workflow process for your business. You need to understand what the process is for bringing new clients on board. You also need to understand what the process is for delivering your product or service, and you need to map it out in writing in a workflow that you can share with your new recruits, because delegating effectively means showing people exactly what you expect them to do and also how can they tell if they're doing a good job. So this takes a little bit of time and effort, but it pays off in droves. Now, the last piece of this puzzle for building a self-managed team is that we need to plug the holes in the bucket. Because if you are building A-grade team members or a high-performance team, they're going to become candidates for those people that are out there headhunting. So we want to avoid churn and we want to think about how can we retain our employees, especially after we've put all of that time and effort into finding them and training them. So when you think about building self-managed teams, don't forget to plug the holes in the bucket, because if you spend all of that time and effort in recruitment and then all of that time and money in training and delegation, the last thing you want to do is lose those people to a competitor who's willing to pay more. So we need to think about three elements to build a self-managed team. The first one is how we go about recruiting or attracting high caliber team members. How do we effectively delegate the job? So not only do they know what to do, but they know if they're doing a good job. And finally, how do we make sure that there is a bit of runway for them to hang around with our organization, so brightness of the future, so that we can retain these high value assets.